There's one feature that's built into WordPress that I don't see a lot of people talking about or using, and that's the search functionality. Now, I know as a user of websites, I constantly go straight for the search bar when I visit a new website and I'm looking for something specific. But you don't see a lot of people integrating this inside of their WordPress website. Now, there are a couple reasons for that. First of all, the search results you get through the default setup inside of WordPress aren't super accurate, so that could discourage people right off the bat. Second of all, you need to create some kind of template to show your search results that give users a good user experience. I've seen by default in a lot of the themes, it's not a really great experience. So in this video, we're going to try to tackle both of these problems. First, by taking a look at some of the plugins you could install on your website to improve the results of your search queries. And second, we're going to dive into how to build out a search results page using GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks. Along the way, I have 3 additional bonuses where I'm going to share some snippets of code with you that make the user experience even better. So if you'd like to add search to your blog or website, stick around and let's get started. First, let's take a look at a few of these plugins that we could add to our website to enhance the results of our search. One very popular plugin inside the repo is called Search WP. It does have live Ajax searching. This plugin is really simple to set up. In fact, all you have to really do is install and activate, and you automatically have some of the benefits coming from this plugin right away. However, I found that most of the beneficial features are really locked behind the pro versions, so I do feel like you would need to pay for this plugin to really get good use out of it. Another one is relevancy, which you see come up a lot. This one has a lot of setup included. You need to go through and set up a lot of different settings, but with that, you get really granular control over all your search results and probably more power than any of the other search results plugins that are out there. This also has a pro version that unlocks more features, and this one will probably get you the most comprehensive results, especially for large websites. However, for myself, I've really been finding myself using this Ivory Search plugin. There's both a free and a paid version, but I found I can get most of everything I need out of the free version. With this plugin, you can set up multiple different searches, so you could have a search that only searches your blog or only searches pages. You could have it search your blog and a custom post type, so you could set up those searches to be a little bit more granular to just return the results you're looking for. And you can also have this search custom fields all included inside the free version. It also has the ability to do Ajax searches in the free version as well. Of course, there are some things that are hidden behind the pro version, so you might want to take a look at their website so you can get a list of everything that's included or not included. For the rest of this demo, I'm going to leave all these plugins off. You can go test all these different options yourself and see what's the best fit for you. But next, let's go ahead and dive in how we set up the search results pages inside of GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks. Okay, first things first, let's head into the customizer so we can enable the default search option that comes with GeneratePress. This was actually upgraded here pretty recently, so if we go in here to the customizer, into layout, primary navigation, now we just have a simple checkbox that allows us to turn this navigation search modal on or off. So you can see now it's added it to the menu in our website. If we click on that, we get a modal pop-up where we can put in our search. So as far as setting up some kind of search option on your website, you can have it just as simple as that, so that there's the search icon in the header of your website and people can conduct searches. Now, by default, you're just going to have the default search results page. So I have a bunch of blog posts on here dealing with mental health. So I'm going to type in the word depression and hit enter. Now, by default, I'm seeing this search results for depression headline, and then I'm seeing each one of my posts here. Now, this obviously isn't a great layout by default. We would want to do some tweaking to that. Now, there are some options inside the customizer, but for me, I want complete control over this, and we can actually do that using GeneratePress elements and designing everything out in GenerateBlocks. So let's go ahead and dive in and get that started. To set up our search results template, we need to go into the elements area here, and then we can click add new element. From there, we're going to choose a block element and hit create. We'll go ahead and call this search results. And over here on the element tab, we want to change this element type to loop template, since we're going to be looping through the different results. Down here in the display rules under location, we want to go ahead and set this as our search results. Keep in mind, we don't want to put this as our no search results, which we're going to do separately here in a second. So we'll go ahead and click on search results here, and we're going to start designing this out. So I'm going to go ahead and add a section to my page. And then as far as design, I really don't think you need to make this too complicated. If you look at any of the big popular search engines, it's pretty much a text link with a small description. And if that's good enough for Google, it's probably good enough for our sites as well. We don't need to get too fancy with this. So what I'm going to do is set up a container in here where I can make it a little bit narrower. I don't want this to stretch out the full width. So we might say the max width is 50% for here on desktop. And then we can put our loop template inside of it. So for that, I'm just going to type in loop so I can find the query loop block. And we can start out with this default one that says title and date, and then we can just tweak it to fit our needs. So I'll go ahead and add that in here, and you can see it's already bringing in all of these results. Now, we don't actually want to go through and query our post. What we want to do is inherit the query from the template. So since this is our search results template, this will inherit that as people do searches and show your search results. So we're going to go ahead and toggle that on. Now, next, we need to go ahead and configure each one of these pieces. So I'm going to click on the headline here and scroll down to the dynamic data. And we can see this is by default pulling in the title, which is exactly what we want. And it's linking to the single post. So for me, that's pretty good. It does have some default styling that came with this template. So you could go in here and change the font sizes. As you can see, this automatically comes in as pixels, and we probably want this like 1.5 rem should do fine. Now here where the date is, I don't think people really care about the date so much in these search results. What they probably want is some kind of description. So for that, we can actually use the built-in excerpt function. So we'll scroll down here to our dynamic data, make sure enable dynamic data is checked on, and then under the content source, we're going to change this from post date to excerpt. As you can see, this brings in the excerpt of all your posts and pages. Now you could go through and add manual excerpts to all these, or WordPress by default will just use the first text from that post or page. Now I probably want to add a little bit of space in between each one of these results. So I'm going to pop open the list view here, open up this grid, and on this post template, I'm going to add a little bit of bottom margin. So we'll say maybe like 2 rem to put space in between each one of these results. And now that we got those basics set up, let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like on the front end. So I'll go ahead and copy my URL here, go to the front end, and again, we'll search for depression. Now you can see we have this setup that we just designed for our search results. To me, this looks a whole lot better than what we had before, but I still think we can make this even nicer. So let's go ahead and dive back into here. And what I actually want to do inside of this query loop and inside of this post template is I want to also show a featured image if a featured image is available. So inside here, I'm going to add a grid, and we'll make it 2 column. We'll make this left column 75% and the right column 25%. We'll go back to the grid and we'll add some gap in between there. And now we can drag this post title and excerpt into the left-hand column. And in the right-hand column, we can add an image block. Again, we'll scroll down to the dynamic data, enable it, and change the image source to featured image. So now if we go ahead and hit update, we can refresh this search on the front end, and we can see any posts that have a featured image will also show the featured image. I like putting these over on the right-hand side since I know some of my pages and posts won't have featured image. At least it won't misalign all the text inside the search results, but you still get the advantage of some kind of visual inside the search results. Lastly, I think we need some kind of heading at the top of this page that shows what the user searched for. Unfortunately, here inside the elements, if you just add a heading block and then make it the title of the page, it will actually return the title of the first thing it queries inside of this page. So we need to actually go add a little bit of custom code to make this work. I'm going to go here to the back end, and I'm going to go into my snippets and add new. Of course, you might want to add this to your functions.php file, and we're going to call this search title. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this code in from off screen. And if you want a copy of this, it'll be available down in the video description below. So here, what we're doing is actually adding a shortcode, which isn't my favorite implementation, but it does the trick here. And it's going to return the words search results for colon as a paragraph. And then as an H1, it's going to have the title of whatever our search was. So all we need to do to enable this to show up in our search results after we save this snippet is add a shortcode into our search results element. So we'll go back here to search results and click edit. Again, we'll pop open the list view here, and inside of our container, We'll add a headline. We're gonna have to scroll to the bottom, but we'll move it up to the top. We're actually gonna add a shortcode. So the shortcode for this is gonna be search_title. And then we can move this shortcode to the top of the page. Go ahead and hit update here. Unfortunately, because it is a shortcode, it's not gonna render on the back end, but we can refresh on the front end and we can see now it's pulling in search results for, and then whatever the term is somebody searched for. Now I did add some CSS to style this already. You can see back inside of our snippet, which I'll open back up, there's a class for both the paragraph that says search results for and for the H1. So that way you can go in and target this with some CSS. You can see for the H1 class, we have search title, and for the search results for, we have the class search for. So that way you can go in and style these however you need. Since on the back end, you're not gonna have the generate blocks UI to edit the text since it's inside of a shortcode. Like I said, this isn't my favorite implementation, but it does make the search results look a whole lot better when you can see exactly what you searched for before. Now we have one more template we need to set up in here, which is for our no search results found. If we just pop open the search again and we search for the word pizza, we can see that nothing was found for that search result, but what we're actually seeing here is the default template that's set up inside of GeneratePress. It's totally fine, but if you're like me and you want complete control over this, we can actually set this up as its own element. So again, we'll pop back in here into elements. We'll add a new element. We'll choose the type as block and hit create. And this will be no search results. For this one, we actually want to choose the element type content template instead of post loop. And for the location, we're going to go down here and type in no search results. Go ahead and publish this so we got it done. And we can change our preview to 100% width since we're going to be using a 100% width template here. Again, I'll go ahead and just pop in a section, and then we'll probably want an H1 that explains that no results were found. So we could do sorry, no results found. And I'm gonna make this actually a bit smaller since that H1 for this looks pretty huge. Now underneath that, you might want some kind of paragraph that says, try searching again, or contact us. Of course, you could link the word contact us to your contact page. I don't have one set up here, but you can imagine you probably do. And then we can actually set up this search again to actually link to open up that search modal. This is actually built into GeneratePress. We just need to use a data attribute to make that functionality happen. So to do this, what we need to do is just go ahead and highlight our searching again text, and we'll just give it a hashtag for the link. And then we need to edit this as HTML. In here inside of this HTML for the link after the A, we're gonna add data-gp modal-trigger equals, and then quote marks, gp search, close quote marks. Again, I'll have this code available down in the description. Now we can edit that visually and you can see we have a link here and a link here. Now if we go ahead and update this, we'll go back to the front end of this website. And again, we'll search for pizza. And you can see now we have our template that we created. Of course, you might want to put other things on this page. This is a pretty basic example, but you get the idea that now you have complete control over what happens when there's no search results found. Now here, if we click this search again link, which we set up with our data attribute, it will automatically bring up that modal again. You might want to just include a search bar on this page, but this is something that you could include on any part of your website to have people be able to click a link and open up the search modal, which I thought was a cool little bonus for this video. Now, the last bonus feature I want to share with you is how you can actually customize what you see inside of these search results a little bit further. Now here in my search results template, as you can remember, for the link, we just set up the title of the page or post. And then for the description, we're using the excerpt. Again, you can set up that excerpt manually by typing that in on your page or post. And by default, if it's left blank, WordPress will just show the first few lines from your page or post. But when we're talking about search results, we're already spending time crafting exactly how we want our pages and posts to show up in search results, typically through our SEO plugin using the meta title and meta description. We can actually hook into that meta title or meta description and show it right here inside of our WordPress search results, which might actually work better in your circumstance. There is one caveat to this, which we'll talk about here in a second, but let's look at how we set this up. Since we're hooking into our meta title and meta description, what we're actually pulling in from is our SEO plugin. In this demo, I'm actually using SEO Press since it seems to be one of the more popular plugins inside of our community, but most SEO plugins will give you this ability to pull the meta key you need for the description and title. So what we need to do is go back in here into our elements. We'll go into our search results, and we need to click on our title and eventually our description. What we'll do is go down here into our dynamic data, and instead of using the title, we're going to use post meta. Now for the title, we're going to actually use a specific meta key, which is underscore SEO press underscore titles underscore title. And for the description, we'll just go down here, same thing, change this to post meta, and change this to underscore SEO press underscore titles underscore DESC, short for description. And we can go ahead and hit update. Now these are the specific meta keys that SEO Press uses for the title and the description. If you're using a different SEO plugin, then you'll want to research what meta keys they use for theirs. I'll leave SEO Press's down in the description of this video. Now if we go back to the front end, we can do another search and see what comes up. So we'll go ahead here and go to the front end. Again, we'll search for the word depression and hit enter. Now you can see we have a bit of a problem here, and this is a caveat about this solution that I was talking about. By default with SEO Press, if you don't manually enter a title and description, it will put one in for you. However, that doesn't work here inside the search results internally on your website when you're using these meta keys. You can see when I didn't set up a specific title or meta description, it's not showing up here, which definitely isn't a good user experience. So you'd only want to use this if you are setting up page titles and meta descriptions manually inside your SEO plugin. But let's go ahead and just take a look and show you that this is working just so you can see. I'm going to go ahead and hit edit on this first post. We'll scroll down and we'll add the title. This is my title. And for the description, we'll say this is my description, and we'll hit update. We'll go back to the front end and do our search again for depression. And you can see now we have this is my title and this is my description, which is being pulled in from our post meta title and our meta description. Of course, the caveat of if you accidentally leave one of those blank, it not showing up at all inside your search results isn't great. I'm probably going to stick with using the title of whatever the post is and the excerpt. However, if you're very good about putting in all your meta titles and meta description, this might actually give you some better results since you're matching up what you want to show up in search engines to what's showing up in the search on your site. I'm working on a project right now where I needed to add the search functionality to the website to really make it make sense. And this really isn't something I've spent a ton of time on inside WordPress. Now, like I said, by default, the search options inside WordPress aren't great, but with these few little tricks, you can actually improve the user experience quite a bit. In fact, on this new project I'm working on, I'm seeing pretty good results with the combination of Ivory Search and these custom templates I've set up. I'd be curious to know if you're already using search inside your WordPress website and if any of these tips or tricks are going to be helpful to you, so definitely leave a comment. If you want to check out some more tips using GeneratePress and GenerateBlocks, I have a few videos popping up here, and if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get notified every time I release a new video, which typically is once a week. We'll catch you next week on the next video.